Welcome in everybody to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I am James Haskell, along with my co-host Glenn Martin, and we are here. The day has arrived. Official schedule release day. It's here, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to talk about it. We might do some way too early predictions. I'll definitely do some way too early predictions, Glenn.
Oh, for sure. We're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
We're going to get into the ins and outs of it. Before we do, Glenn, how you doing?
Doing good? Yeah, doing well. It's a beautiful day in Baltimore. What can we have to complain about? I know there might be some storms coming this weekend, but I'm enjoying it while it lasts. This beautiful weather, no doubt about it.
Yeah, man.
But I'm excited to get into this because people look. We have our opponents, and so some people kind of downplay the schedule release, but in my opinion, I want to know when we're playing them. I think that matters.
When and where.
Absolutely. I think when on your schedule is a huge, huge difference, not just because of potential weather when you play in the AFC North, but also if you have, players on opposing teams that have injury issues, if you're playing them early in the season, chances are they're likely going to be healthy. But if you're playing them later in the season, maybe not so much. I like to look how much they're traveling, how many back-to-back road games, all that good stuff. So we're going to get into it, and I'm excited to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, DK, let's pop this thing up. And if any of you haven't seen the schedule already, here it is, but I'm assuming you have. Let's just give it a once-over for anybody that's listening on audio. So week one, we are actually, hold on one second. Home is gold and away is red. Do I understand that correctly?
Well, we're at home week one, so colors aren't my strong suit, but we'll
maybe all of this. I don't know what's going on here.
But
what's
I have
with the red and the gold, DK. Do you know? Does anyone know? All right. Well, we're home week one against the Texans, which will be a fun one. We'll get into them, but then we play. Dang it, I wish I knew.
I got you. We're at the Bengals week 2, which is nice. Looking? I'm on on Twitter, and somebody had it
perfect.
posted.
All right, yeah. I see where you're at too. So good. Keep going.
So week 1 at home against the Texans. Not a bad way to open your schedule. I mean, you're talking about a team that's very, very much so in the infancy of their rebuild. Yes, they may have gotten their quarterback, but he's still a rookie, and we know how the Ravens do against that. Then at the Bengals, I'm not mad. Earlier, we've seen every time we play the Steelers and Bengals towards the end of the year, I like that we get them a little bit earlier, kind of smack those Tigers back into reality and let them know where they're going to be for the rest of the season. Let them know right away. The Colts at home, week 3.
And that is going to be an electrifying game. I mean, Anthony Richardson, Lamar Jackson.
Good point.
I'm assuming Anthony Richardson is going to start. So that's going to be a fun one too.
Yeah, and also any of our older fans, my dad being one of them, still not the Colts, they still it gets them burning. Week 4 at the Browns, going into the dog pound.
That's going to be that'll be interesting because I mean, it's always fun to watch Deshaun and Lamar line up and then it's division rival. So I got this thing down. Yeah, Glenn, I'm interested to know, can you decipher between a red and gold on this screen?
Let me see. Man, I guess if I really focus, I can try.
It's gone now anyway.
But you know how it is with me with colors. I'm sure everyone else is having no problem doing so.
Oh, look, DK made it friendlier for us. All right, DK, thank you.
Good, because I need all the help I can get. All right, and we're going to circle back to this because they go week 4 at the Browns, week 5 at the Steelers, week 6 in London taking on the Titans. That's a stretch, Jimbo. So we're going to circle back to that. Week 7 at home against the Lions, which, by the way, the Lions are no easy task. This is a seriously, seriously talented football team. It's probably why they got I think they opened the season against the Chiefs. So the first game of the season this year.
Yep.
That first Thursday night. So they're getting some love and respect nationwide as well. Week 8 at the Cardinals. Remind me to show you again what the Cardinals Twitter account put out in insulting our quarterback after the schedule was released.
The Cardinals? I saw the Chargers.
The Cardinals.
All right.
Yeah. You're going to be interested to see this one because the audacity that they have to put up this I mean, I couldn't believe it. Week 9 at home against the Seahawks. That's a tough game for the Seattle coming all the way across West Coast to East. Should be a game where the Ravens have an advantage there. Week 10 at home against the Browns. Week 11, Thursday night at home against the Bengals. Now, I got to see what the Bengals are playing in week 10, but I got to look at that as an advantage for the Ravens, although a total loss, I think, for the league in general.
Yeah.
Why are they making these two teams play on a Thursday night? These two teams should be at their best when they're playing each other. But
yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting fired up along the way here.
No, that's good. I can pick it up here after the Bengals on Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah, we got at week 12 we got the Chargers, so that's going to be a long, going out to LA. That's going to be a long road trip. And their graphic was they were describing. I don't know if you've seen any of this on Twitter. It's pretty insane. I'm surprised the Chargers.
They go hard every year,
but I think they're going to get some backlash for some of these. They were describing the team they were playing against in graphic form, like imagery. So they took a brown sugar Pop-Tart and put Old Bay on top of it. And then they had a picture of Lamar Jackson next to it. So I'm not going to make any assumptions there, but it did not look good. That did not look good. Anyway, after that, so it's all the way to week 13. We got to buy. That's a stretch right there. Dude, week 13 got to buy. I know. And then we're at home.
The last buy of the year, right? In week 13, last week of buys, I think.
Yeah, and then we do get. Well, I mean, the 3 out of the last 5 games are at home, and so we do wrap up the year at home. But we're against the Rams the following week, week 14. They're in a rebuild, so we'll see what they look like. At Jacksonville, at San Francisco on Christmas night, which will be a fun game. That's a primetime game, and then versus Miami. So in Miami, and then, at home against the Dolphins, which could mean a lot for the playoff implications, seeding and things like that. And then at home against Pittsburgh I'm not a big believer in Pickett, but could also be a big.
They're always in it though. They're always right around wild card. I don't think they're competing for a division, but they could get a wild.
Now, one thing I will say though, Glenn, is that, and somebody mentioned in the comments, if I'm not mistaken, so we have 4 primetime games, but I think there's only 1 primetime game at home.
I think it's 5, right? Because you count the London game. That's a primetime game.
Do you count that as a primetime game? Is it on?
It's on 9 a.m. It's going to be the only game on.
But is it on nationally?
Every game? Oh, yeah.
But I thought, isn't London only on NFL Network?
Maybe, but it's the only game on at the time, and everyone's seeing it. It's not like it's just the local market's going to see it.
So, like, in my mind, I mean, I think you're right. I guess in my mind, when I think of, like, primetime, I think of something that's on, like, ABC, CBS, Fox. But
well, nationally. I think Thursday night, isn't Thursday night now on
Amazon? Yeah, I guess that's true. It's on Prime, and that'll be the only time they're on there as well. So that's fair enough. You can count those as like.
So I think they got 5. I'll call it 5, but you're right. 1 at home cannot make John Harbaugh happy, Eric DeCosta. I mean, Dick Cass isn't here anymore. Shashi Brown. None of them are going to be happy to see this.
Yeah, pretty lame. And then one of the things that Ryan Mink brought up is that last year we traveled about 8,000 some miles. This year we're going to be tripling that. That's going to be 24,000 and change, I believe.
Oh, I have the graphic here.
Yeah, it's round trip.
It is, and that's not a small like dusted under the rug issue. That travel that wears on people. I mean, Jimmy, you travel, certainly more than I have. What does that kind of travel do to you physically?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always difficult. I'm sure all these guys, I don't know, I shouldn't say all, but I'm sure a lot of them are very routine based. I'm very routine based, and it just throws you out of your routine. You're in your own bed, and you're not in your own bed. You're waking up at a different time, and there's a ton of logistical stuff, and it's just added stress, less sleep. It's brutal. I don't know. I always get hit hard when I fly. Takes me a little bit of time to adjust, but so it's going to be tricky in my opinion. It's no small task.
And it's no shock, and this is kind of unfair for West Coast teams in general, but they're always near the top, right? Seattle's almost always the top because of their location and how much they have to travel to get to anyone. San Fran, if you look up there, LA, both the LA teams are in the top 5, and there's really only one East Coast team in the top 5, and that's Miami, and then the Ravens are right there. So it's as challenging of a travel schedule that I can remember the Ravens having. And of course, London is gonna bump you way up there when you have to go all the way across the pond.
It's pretty crazy. Where the Jaguars play in London twice, and they are still down at the bottom. Now, I think that they might be back-to-back games, so they might just stay there. So I'd be factoring that in. Still,
it's brutal.
Yeah, it's a brutal schedule for the Ravens travel-wise. It'll be interesting to see if they do anything different logistically. I remember there was a time, it was a few years ago when the Ravens did a West Coast trip and they stayed out there, and then John didn't end up liking it.
Yep.
And
because we got our doors blown off.
Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that affects us this year. But either way, man, I'm so excited for this. Let's get back to this schedule, this graphic, if you don't mind, DK or whoever's rolling this bad boy.
Let's put that up there because I think we do have to talk.
Yeah, let's go down. Let's break them down.
Yeah, let's get into it one by. We'll start at the top. So week 1 against the Texans, I look at that as a gift, in a sense, because the Ravens typically do a really good job of having their players ready to perform week 1, where some coaches or teams just seem to need a little bit more time to kind of get their feet under them. Do you look at how big of a favorite do you expect the Ravens to be hosting the Texans week 1?
Whew, I mean, at least 7 points, if not more. I wouldn't be surprised if they open a little more. But yeah, big favorites here.
Yeah, that's a tough task for what's his name?
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud to take on this defense at the bank week 1 when you have no NFL experience. It could be a long afternoon for CJ Stroud.
Big time. That's going to be, absolutely. And look, hope all the best for him, just not week 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I tell you what, we get right into it. I tell you what, it's a bummer now every time the Ravens and the Bengals play at 1:00.
I know.
It's a bummer.
Because it just screams prime time. But selfishly, I'm not mad about 1:00 games because I don't have to sit around and wait all day for my team to play.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't disagree with you there. And it's going to be a fun game. But like you said, I like catching them early too. It assures that more people are healthy and that you got as many, original starters as you planned on having. So that's going to be a fun one. Look, man, I'm excited for the Adafe Orlando Brown matchup moving forward.
Yeah.
I haven't always been the biggest supporter of Adafe Owe, but one thing Adafe Owe's got is speed. And one thing Orlando Brown really struggles with is speed. And one thing Joe Burrow really struggles with is getting rid of the dang football. That's a bad combination. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's going to be a good one. Obviously it's going to be a good one to watch.
No doubt. I think we might see more of a Jabo taking advantage of that than Owe. I think oftentimes Owe is lined up over the right tackle. And I think we're going to see a Jabo maybe a little bit more so over left side. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But either way, I think both guys, if they live up to their potential and
Orlando's a right tackle anyway.
That's true. True. Just don't tell him that, and don't ask him to play it, or he's leaving. He's taking his ball and he's going home if you try and ask him to play on the right side. But that's a good early kind of litmus test of, okay, what's this matchup looking like? Now, last year the Ravens kind of handled the Bengals in their first matchup, and ultimately the Bengals had the last laugh, albeit without Lamar Jackson under center. Those go arounds, but I think the Ravens will be, they're not going to be at all intimidated. They are going to be hyped, ready for this matchup and ready to make a statement, I think.
100%. Just like that primetime game we went to last year was, they were just, ready to go and firing on all cylinders. So for sure. Did the super chat, what's with the star? Does anyone see that? Over here,
I don't know.
Aggressive Raven.
I guess it looks a little different.
Yeah, you see that, right? Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was something you did, DK, or if that is just. Oh, okay, cool. So Aggressive Raven said the Ravens stomping the Dolphins on New Year's Eve. That's a hell of a way to celebrate the new year. Go Ravens. Yeah, I think we're gonna get there. We can jump ahead of the Dolphins and move back. I'm certainly happy to talk about any one of these. I don't think the order particularly matters. That being at the end of the season, though, is going to be really interesting because. Look, these guys have played everywhere all over the country, but ultimately when you're a nice weather team and then you got to come up north, 12, New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, it's not going to be warm.
That's a good point. But at the same time, Jimbo, our quarterback doesn't seem to love the cold weather either. And being a Florida boy himself,
But he's put up some big games in the cold.
Yeah, well, he's put up big games in any weather. But you're right. I think the Ravens should have an advantage there, just like the Miami Dolphins have an advantage when teams visit their place in the very early parts of the season and have to deal with that humidity and heat when they're not used to it. So yeah, let's just hope that. And I guess I shouldn't say let's hope, but let's see if Tua is still under center in week 17.
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping that he is, right, and hoping for his health.
Well, certainly, but the chances of him making through a whole season, if you look at the past,
let's hope him and Lamar, right?
Yeah, well, at least Lamar does have a track record of getting through a season where Tua, I don't think has made it through one to this point. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting matchup of weapons. But let's get back to week 3 against the Colts. That one is everyone's billing Anthony Richardson as kind of like a combination of Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton if they were kind of molded into one person. But they also mentioned that he's got a lot of growing to do before he's able to kind of take the league by storm. I don't think this is a guy who's going to hit the ground run. I think unless he's just solely using his athleticism and not really using his arm much, I think he's going to struggle. What are your thoughts on the matchup against the Colts week 3?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think similar to CJ Stroud, he's got to come into the bank, and a lot of the things that have been said about him also were said about Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson had the luxury of at least a little bit of a runway behind Joe, because look, Lamar Jackson is incredible, and he did great things his rookie year from when he came in, but Lamar Jackson has evolved greatly from, I mean, you remember those first couple throws, and you're like, you know what I mean? And it's no knock. Lamar Jackson is obviously incredible. It's just, it is what it is. You evolve, as the years and the reps go on. So yeah, he's going to be 120. Well, yeah, maybe 120 reps in at that point.
Yeah. Unless they win. I think if they win early, he's going to have low numbers as far as passing. But if they fall behind, then yeah, it could go pretty high.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. But it'll be interesting to see, because still that offense has potential, even without throwing the football, to be a buzzsaw, because that running attack can be absolutely vicious, and they can lean on that early, like we did with Lamar when he came in for Joe.
Yep.
And really punch some teams in the mouth. But if there's a team that understands that,
that's true.
It's going to be the Ravens. So that's going to be a fun one too, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point that they practice against a guy every day, whereas most teams don't have that luxury and are pretty starstruck when they see a guy like Anthony Richardson running from the quarterback.
Certainly different runners, but ultimately the dynamic is the same. The threat is the same. I think the discipline is the same. The only difference is you got to tackle. Like Lamar's hard to tackle because you can't touch him. Anthony Richardson will just smash you in the face mask.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's fast.
Yeah.
But now this is the stretch that is the first thing that caught my eye. Week 4, 5, and 6, they go at Cleveland, at Pittsburgh, and then on the road in London to take on the Tennessee Titans. All 3 of those games, potentially very physical games.
Well, and pretty crappy because you have back-to-back away division games where, just like you said, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yep.
And then you got to go to London and you get no bye afterward.
That is a brutal, brutal stretch, Jimbo. There is no doubt about it that if the Ravens come out of that, look, if they lose to the Browns in week 4, that's scary because they could come out of this stretch 0-3. I think they have to win that week 4 game, which isn't going to, you're going at Cleveland into the dog pound. That's not going to be an easy win. Yeah, that's certainly going to be a tough game. That team's going to believe that they're in it just like anyone else in week 4. That could be one of those early season must wins, because if you lose that game, I mean, it wouldn't shock anyone to see the Ravens lose on the road in Pittsburgh. And then all bets are off. You're going to take on a physical Titans team in London. Last time we were in London, got the doors blown off of us against a terrible Jacksonville Jaguars team where I think it was Mercedes Lewis had like 3 touchdowns, which doubled his career total to that point.
We've since Lamar's been the quarterback, we've had some struggles early with the Browns. Now, not every year, but certainly.
But even the games we win, it's not like they're blowouts.
Right, exactly. So it's been a pun intended. It's been a dogfight, right? But yeah, so that'll be an interesting one. I don't really know what's going on Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb was a second round pick, so this is a contract year for him, if I'm not mistaken. Not that it matters, but that's going to be interesting to. He was drafted. Yeah, this is his contract year, right? This is his 4th year going in. Sorry, your mic's not on. You got to hit the button.
My bad.
Rookie mistake.
Well, it started acting crazy, so I had to unplug it. But
1,000 videos in.
Yeah.
It's okay though. I forgive you. Don't worry.
Rookie. I'm a rook.
No, I'm just saying that like Nick Chubb's going into his 4th year, right? 4th year, and he was second round pick.
It feels like longer than that. Jeez.
Yeah, and this is a contract year. That'll be interesting to see.
They don't have Kareem Hunt anymore, if I remember correctly. He's a free agent, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, look, honestly, as much as I'm not nervous about the Steelers, I could regret this. I'm less nervous about the Browns. I just believe that Deshaun Watson is done. I think he's psychologically toast. Yeah. I don't think that they like him. I don't think that they support him. I think that he has psychologically ruined his career.
Well,
I just
it
don't
couldn't
know how
happen to a better person. I'm not mad at all that it happened to that guy.
No, I mean, it's just, yeah, I don't think he comes back from it, Glenn. I just don't think he does.
But and even if that's the case, they could win. Look, we've seen this team win without good quarterback play.
Yeah.
So they could still win that game on the back of Nick Chubb if the defense plays well and Myles Garrett, does Myles Garrett type things.
Yeah.
That's scary. And then that Titans game, man, I'm telling you, it's already a physical game. They can play in a parking lot at your local Walmart. It's going to be a beat 'em up physical game. Now they got to go all the way to London and then turn around and come home to take on a up and coming potent offense in the Detroit Lions. That is just an incredibly tough stretch because that Lions team is coming, Jimbo.
Yeah, and even if you think about right before the Lions game, by 6 weeks, by week 6, by the end of week 6, we'll have played half of our division games.
That's a good point.
That's pretty brutal in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's different than we've seen in recent history.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's early, and once again, I mean, I'm not making excuses for the Ravens. I think that's just tough. I mean, it just is what it is, but that's tough. So, but yeah, you're right. I mean, the Lions are no longer the Lions. The interesting thing about the Lions will be what their run attack is, because they got, Jamal Williams is no longer there, their leading touchdown, scorer last year. And then they got rid of DeAndre Swift. So they got brand new backs in the backfield. I don't know how much of that will make a difference, but either way, like you said, they're an up and coming team. By week 7, who's the kid, the Alabama kid that got suspended? Williamson.
Oh, yeah, he got suspended for betting, for gambling.
Yeah, super talented wide receiver.
And they lost Swift, but they signed the number 1 running back they drafted.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, ultimately, those guys we just don't know what they'll be. So that'll be interesting because they'll have a brand new backfield. He'll be back. That'll be his first week back against the Ravens. But I'm not super nervous about them because you still got number 16 under center.
That's true. At the end of the day, he's still there. Yeah.
Now, Glenn, if you can find it, can you pull up this tweet, this week 8 matchup against the Cardinals, the tweet you were talking about?
Oh, I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, I want to see this.
I don't know if DK, he's motioning. Okay, I have it up. But there we go. DK says by week 11, the Ravens would have finished 5 of their 6 division games before their bye week. And that's another good point. And we're going to get into it once we get there. The bye week is incredibly late. Like insanely late. And yeah, I think I don't want it too early. And I think if I had to choose too early or too late, I would choose too late. But man, they had a good run in a couple years where it just seemed like it was right smack dab in the middle of their schedule. And I think that's what every coach is hoping for.
Yeah.
But this is what I was referring to when I mentioned.
Really?
This is what the Arizona Cardinals
really
had the audacity to tweet out after Kyler Murray is nothing more than a cheap discount knockoff version of Lamar Jackson, and they have the audacity to tweet this, Jimbo?
You know, oh my gosh. Yeah, you know what he is? No, I'll tell you my thoughts. If you guys ever watch Parks and Rec, there's this guy that talks about his brother named Leslie, who the middle third of him got taken out and they sutured him together. So he's one, short looking half man, right? That's exactly, imagine Lamar Jackson and his middle section is gone. Like, that's Kyler Murray, and you're going to sit here and trash. I can't believe this. I hope Lamar Jackson sees this, and I hope he retweets it after we destroy them. You know what they need to do? Somebody out there on Twitter, there is a video, and I think somebody's made this comparison before. There's a video at a traffic stop where it's a crazy-looking traffic stop, and all of a sudden this pocket-sized car with a dude in it goes through the light and makes a left. It's like a go-kart, right?
Nice.
That's Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
In regular traffic. Like, can we get that done, please? That is ridiculous, Glenn.
Isn't that
You're
crazy?
Right. The absolute, what does Stephen A say? The unmitigated gall.
Oh, yes. The audacity.
The audacity, dude. What on earth?
Crazy, right? Like, they want this. I mean, they want the smoke, like they said in the chat. They do.
I can't believe it. Look, I got to show you this one. Yeah, this is the one I was talking about. Here, let me add this real quick. This is not.
Yeah, pop it up there.
Let's see. All right, here we go. Share screen. All right, here we go.
Just the Chargers?
Yeah. I was shocked by this one, dude. I mean, really?
So our 2023 opponents as Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Is there? Yeah, that's sketchy.
Yeah, I don't like that one too. Well, and you look what they did with Josh Allen here.
Dang,
bro! Like, what? Look, this one actually is the best one, I think.
Oh my good green corn!
I know.
Wow. Yeah, that's but the
Arizona one is shocking.
It's crazy, right?
Why?
I don't know why they would poke. You talk about poking the bear. I mean, I don't even get it. First of all, their season is already down the two. Like, Kyler Murray's not even going to play this year, right? He hurt his. If he does, he's going to be
definitely not week 8,
and it'll be at the end of the year. I can't even imagine. So this is a team that is
they're going to get waxed.
I don't understand why they would come out and throw jabs at teams when they're really not even ready to play for anything. So
they are going to get waxed. I cannot wait for that one. We're going to retweet the crap out of that one.
Yeah, I'm sure. I hope the Ravens Twitter account does as well. Marco says, I like the 3 consecutive home games we have mid-season. We also play close divisional games week 4 and 5 before having to fly to London. Yeah, the travel leading up in 4 and 5 isn't bad, but the physicality of those games, man, I think that's what's got me worried. And then you go to London, take on another physical team. I mean, Mike Vrabel, I don't think will ever have a team that's not physical. That's just,
and then they don't even get a 4:00 game in week 7.
I know you could at least given them a kind of a late start, but
yeah, something.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal. But as far as the 3 consecutive home games, yeah, I mean, it goes right into it right now. So week 9, 10, and 11 at home against the Seahawks, the Browns, and then at home and Thursday night against the Bengals. DK, if you could, can you find out who the Bengals play in week 10? Because that, to me, you remember last year when the Ravens had to play the Browns, then the Steelers, then the Browns, and the Browns had a bye week in between?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the most egregious thing I've ever seen on a schedule. This isn't that bad, but now you're playing the Bengals. You have a quick turnaround on a Thursday night after playing a division foe in the Browns. You know their goal is going to be to beat us up as much as they can. That way, when we take on the Browns, 3 days later, they're walking wounded.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be an interesting one. Sorry, DK.
Trying to read his hand signals in the back.
Private chat. He's saying private chat.
Oh, gosh.
Houston Texans. So they got a gimme.
Oh, my goodness. They got a layup before.
Jeez whiz. I'm interested to see what the Bengals do this year. Now, I said this last year because, we talked about them having a tougher schedule, and then they came back and went to the AFC Championship game again this year. But or this last year, but I'm interested to see. I mean, I'm just saying sustained success is really difficult in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really, really difficult. So that's going to be interesting to see what type of product they put out on the field. But yeah, and then week 12, of course. So like DK said, by that Bengals game end, we will have played 5 of our 6 division games.
That's crazy. That's great to have that many out of the way. And then you have still, what's that? 3, 6, 7 weeks left in the schedule. And you only have one more division matchup.
Crazy. I mean, that's shocking to me. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, ultimately, I guess the earlier the better because of health.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, but to have them so close to one another, right? So like 4 and 5 back-to-back division games, 10 and 11 back-to-back division games. 4 and 5 are both obviously away. 10 and 11 are at home. But still, I mean, that's tough. And then, like I said, there's 3 division games away. Not only do we have 3 division games by week 6, all of them are away.
Now, it's also a great opportunity for the Ravens to
jump out.
Exactly. Jump out there and then weather the storm of the tougher parts of your schedule. But if they can somehow win at Cleveland in week 4 and at Pittsburgh in week 5, I'd be okay with them coming back from London with an L.
Yeah. Now, I hear you. Now, after, of course, 11, then we have the Chargers at 12.
Some travel right there, boy.
Yeah, out in LA.
At night.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Oh, no, that's going to be tough because, 8:20 Eastern. That's okay.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but I'm just saying it's another primetime game, not in Baltimore, which is going to piss off, I think, the front office and probably the players too. But
it's going to be 50-50, I guarantee it, though.
You know what? Actually, I guess I'd rather them play at night if they're going to travel to the West Coast than at 1 o'clock, right?
Yeah, well, and then you get the bye the following week. So,
what type of team do you think the Rams are going to be in week 14?
They're going to be a Stetson Bennett run dumpster fire.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I wonder if Stafford, I feel like once he won the Super Bowl, he's checked out.
Dude, and he got that check, bro.
Oh, yeah, you look at cap hits.
So much money.
Dude, in like 2026, his cap hit is still top 5 in the league. It's insane. I was looking at a breakdown like, oh, what have they done business-wise? If they didn't win that damn Super Bowl, they would be the example of how not to go all in. But
yeah, I tell you what, I'm still glad they won it over the Bengals.
That's true. Yeah, I was rooting for them.
Still glad they won it because we can always have Bengals fans like, hey, show us your Super Bowl rings.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we have that trump card that we can lay down.
Right. So week 15 historically, has been a non-competitive game because by 15 the Jags aren't in it, but the Jags obviously are in it, right? Like they're a proven playoff team. Not only they will go on a streak, they beat us last year, went on a streak last year, ended up screaming into the playoffs, won the first round via upset, and gave the Chiefs a little bit of
scared.
Yeah, I was gonna say about all they could give them, but so that's gonna be an exciting one and another primetime one, albeit on the way on the road.
What do you think? Is it
another 50-50, dude? That crowd gonna be half Ravens.
And that's crazy, too, because the Jaguars are finally competitive, and I agree. I think the Ravens are going to have a huge showing in the stands that day, despite the fact that the Jaguars will probably be leading their division and ready to go in the playoffs. But that's going to be a fun one because it's a night game in warm weather. Florida. Yeah, in warm weather. It should be that should be an exciting matchup, no doubt. Now, I got to get your take on this next one, Jimbo, and I'm not going to drop any names, but let's just say the huge Niner fan that I know was given an offer by his father to take him to that Niners game Christmas Day or Christmas night against the Ravens, turned it down because of a fear of flying.
What?
Yeah, exactly. And you know me.
What?
I would be nervous, but there ain't no way I'm not getting on that damn plane.
Dude, just medicate yourself. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Just medicate yourself. Like whatever your thing is, if you're really that scared of it, whatever. I'm not look, you know me. I'm not suggesting drugs,
Illegal
but
drug use? Yes.
no, it doesn't even have to be illegal. Like, dude, they sell alcohol on the plane.
Right. Yeah. Get a little liquid courage in you on the
Dude,
way in.
no way. Shut up. Are you
Dead
serious?
serious, dude.
Well, not only do you get
Denied.
to go to that game, you get to go to San Francisco. Best sushi in the United States, San Francisco, hands down.
Okay.
Like, the food is incredible. You can get great food any time of day. Not my favorite city, but it's a great food city. It's a great, vacation spot. It's San Francisco, dude.
Yep. Could have gone to see the Ravens playing against his favorite team. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. But what's your thoughts on
Would
the
you
Ravens?
do it?
Oh, of course I would go. It was again paid.
5-hour flight, Glenn. 30,000 feet up.
Well, see, what I would do is, like, I had to get what was this? Man, it was probably like 8 years ago now. I had to get I had chipped one of my teeth. I headbutted something and broke off half my tooth, and I had to get dental surgery done.
Yeah.
And I get nervous when it comes to anything like that. So the dentist gave me a two pill little, I think it was like a Valium thing. Take one to get to sleep the night before, one in the morning. I was skipping into the dentist, dude. I was like, let's go. I had not a care in the world. So I would do something like that. I'd go to my doctor and be like, look, I'm about to fly. Just give me one pill. I'll cut that sucker in half, and I'll take it one the night before, one the morning up, and I'll dance my way on the.
Dude, I have one more suggestion that you should throw out there. Okay, dude, tell him and his pops if they can just save your time off.
Mm-hmm.
Get like 10 days off, right? Or just 7 actual work days off with the weekends. Road trip it, dude. Make a road trip out of it and have a good time with your dad.
Yeah, John Madden style, dude. John Madden had a big tour bus,
Dude, yeah, man. God's country.
There you go. That's an opportunity. Go see some things you may have not seen
go to
before.
Chicago. Get some, do all of it. Anyway, bummer.
But I know. But what's your thoughts on the Ravens playing on Christmas night? Some fans.
I'm not a fan.
I understand. Tell us why.
Just because, like, Christmas is, first of all, I still kind of feel like the NBA owns Christmas Day. Like, they always do a good job on Christmas. They always
kills it. Always have great matchups.
Dude, when I was a kid, I used to grab my whole Christmas plate. Everyone would be upstairs talking, and I'd run downstairs and just be right in front of the TV all by myself watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my presents were opened, of course. I'm like a selfish kid, right? So, but no, I mean, so that's part of it. But also, yeah, it's just a bummer. I think it's a little bit of a bummer. I like Christmas Eve games.
Yeah. Yep.
But
yeah, I'm with you. Christmas, because there's already so much going on. It's same with like, I went to a Ravens Thanksgiving game. I've done all that, but same with Thanksgiving to me. I'd rather let the other team so I can watch it carefully.
Yeah, uninterested. Right, exactly.
And just half asleep.
Yeah.
But now I got to get, now we got to have it's a whole thing. But with that being said, come Christmas night, I'm going to be pretty hyped that I see the Ravens playing a meaningful, because it's going to be a meaningful game for both teams at that point in the season.
Right? I mean, ultimately, you never know, but there's a high likelihood that this is going to be a very meaningful, very physical football game, and 2 electric offenses. Who, I mean, ultimately, we still don't know. I guess we do know. Jeez Whiz, my dog just went nuts. Hold on a second. I got to yell at him.
Uh-oh. Well, maybe he's doing his job. Maybe there's an intruder, and he's going to get it. Don C says, I think our hardest challenge of the schedule is the travel. They need to leave early and get acclimated. Yeah, I mean, it's there's no doubt that jet lag is a very real thing. And I know that coaches have constantly tried, different techniques, whether it's getting there, 2 days early to let your body kind of get used to the clock, or some have even gotten there super late and just said, let's not let our body even get, know it's in a different time zone. Let's just throw it right into it. I think that the Ravens every time kind of tweak their travel schedule. It'll be interesting to see what they do this time. But I'm with you, Don C. That's not something that should be overlooked. It is very real. And I think when the Ravens had in 2019, if I remember correctly, they had a very, very favorable travel schedule, which not saying that led to that historic season, but it didn't hurt. Certainly. So let's see. Todd Heat, appreciate the love. If you meant to say something, well, we'll certainly mention it, but appreciate the support. No doubt about it. But yeah, I mean, let's get back into it. I think in week 17.
All right, I'm back.
Is that New Year's? Appreciate it. New Year's Eve game. Now I'm excited about the New Year's Eve game because, like most people, I do get off New Year's Day. So while it's only a 1:00 game, that means I can kind of let my hair down a little bit, maybe have a couple cervezas and not have to worry about getting up early the next day. But most importantly, that could be a game that's very meaningful for both teams. And I'm glad that it's at home because I think the Ravens will have an advantage, playing in front of their home crowd. And it's an AFC matchup, which tiebreakers oftentimes come down to common opponents and record against the AFC. And also, let's be honest, Jimbo, we got that game, the Ravens had them handled.
Oh, I know.
And just gave it away in the fourth. And I think the Ravens have something for them.
Yeah, we got some get back. So yeah, that's gonna be a fun one for sure. And look, we talked about the primetime games. There's a chance that week 18 could go to primetime.
Yeah, it could be flexed. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a chance. We'll see what the deal is with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But for sure, if the Pittsburgh and Ravens are both in it and there's if whatever variables are surrounding this, I believe that they're top of the list to be primetime. It would take a lot to push them out of that spot if they're both in playoff contention.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be interesting as well. But I agree with you on week 17. Now, I got a couple questions that I want to walk through. One is what game, if you could only go, if you're restricted to one game this upcoming season that you could go to, what game do you believe you go to? I'm not even gonna count the London game. Like let's just not call the London game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the immediate one that jumps to my mind is the Thursday night game against the Bengals because we had such a good time last year, watching that. But at the same time, I realize and recognize that the Thursday night product isn't the best product on either side, no matter what team you are. It's just not. And so if I had to pick one that's not, man, that's a tough one because I really all the other primetime games are going to be on the road. I guess I would say I wouldn't mind going week 18 against the Steelers.
That's
Last time
funny.
we played them week 18, we let Big Ben hear it, but his fat ass got the last laugh as they won on the field. So I'd like to get a little get back against the Steelers.
Yeah, so that's funny because mine was going to be 17 or 18.
Yeah, 17's a good one. Yep.
Yeah, but for sure, yeah, absolutely. You can't beat a Steelers game. I mean, it's the Steelers, and there's going to be Steelers fans in the crowd and things like DK. What about you?
Oh,
yeah,
talking about on the road.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I wouldn't mind going to Arizona. I hear Arizona's a nice place to visit, and let's beat them boys down.
It ain't LA though.
No, it ain't LA.
No, Arizona's cool, but it ain't LA.
Yeah.
I'll have to agree with DK, especially Glenn. Like, dude, if it's your first time out there, LA is dope. It's a cool city. Yeah. I mean, it's just a great food city, man. Like,
and you know me,
fat, so
I like to eat.
Oh, dude, yeah, man, nothing like it. Oh, the other thing I was going to ask too is, what surprised you? Is it true what
they say, Jimbo? Hang on, is it true? I heard there's like smog in LA, like visible smog, almost all the time. Is that real? DK says he's nodding his head big time.
I mean, I lived there for 2 years. I don't
know.
I mean, during the fires for sure.
Okay.
But outside of that, so this is the other thing too. I also lived in Utah where Salt Lake City is in a valley where the smog is way worse. Even though there's way less people because it's in a valley. But if you don't get enough high pressure systems to push out the smog, it gets way worse. So I don't remember it being that bad, but I also lived. Yeah, that's true. You can't see the mountains clearly in LA. I also lived down by the beach, so that might have kept the air like.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I didn't live too far. Like I lived in Long Beach. I didn't live in LA.
Gotcha. I mean? Gotcha.
So that's fair. Yeah.
I hear not a good idea to drive around in there.
Oh, dude, the traffic is because no one in LA cares about public transportation. No one uses public transportation in LA, so the roads are terrible. Terrible. Like in New York, any other big city, a significant portion of people use public transit.
Yeah.
No one uses that crap in LA, dude. Like, it's insane. Anyway.
So what were you going to ask when I rudely cut you off?
No, you're all good. What surprised you the most? Like when you dug into, so just to give you an example, mine was 3 AFC AFC North division games away in the first 6 weeks. That was super shocking to me. What surprised you the most about the schedule?
Well, I think the one that surprised me the most is the 3 back-to-back road games capped off by the London visit. I thought, and then not having any reprieve after the London visit. I thought either before or after London, we would see something to help them out, but it's the exact opposite. They have a 1:00 game the following week after their bat, and then they play back-to-back division matchups on the road leading up to it. So I think they got no favors, in that stretch. And again, opportunity, because if you come out of that 2-1, that's a fantastic stretch. But it's very real possibility the team could go 1-2 or even 0-3 in that stretch. And you don't want to have a 3-game losing streak at any point, but certainly not in the beginning part of the season. For nothing else, for morale purposes.
Yeah, no, that's a great point as well. The other thing I was going to ask you is we have the division games. We have the NFC games, but the AFC games that are out of divisions. So we're talking Titans, so let's see, Texans, Colts, Titans, Chargers, Dolphins. I think those are it, right?
That's it.
What are you saying, DK?
You said the Titans?
Yeah. Jaguars.
Oh, yeah, Jags.
Yeah,
yep.
Jags. So of those, which game do you believe will have the biggest impact on the shaping of the playoffs? Because that's a big deal. I mean, if you think about the just to kind of give you an idea here, the AFC South, you got the Texans and the Jags. I think the Jags are the clear favorites there. And then, the AFC North, we only play the Dolphins from the AFC North this year, correct? Or sorry, East. AFC East. We're the AFC North. Of the AFC East, we only play the Dolphins. Any other ones. It's funny how ever since Lamar's been on the team, they squeeze the Dolphins in there. Makes obviously
that
not
is
an accident.
Interesting. Yeah, that is. Interesting.
I mean, it's clearly on purpose.
Appreciate it, Todd.
Yeah, Todd, and if you got a comment too.
Yeah, because this is the second one he's put up.
Yeah. If you're doing it accidentally and you got a comment,
if he's doing it intentionally, appreciate it.
Yeah,
Todd.
we appreciate it too. But ultimately, what I'm trying to get out of you
to answer your question, I think it's the Dolphins. It's the Dolphins.
I agree,
and here's why. I mean, the Jaguars are going to run away with that division, in my opinion.
So you don't think the Colts can compete in that division?
Not yet. No, I don't. Not yet. I don't think Anthony Richardson's there yet. I think the Jaguars already are a playoff team.
All right.
I think they'll be better this year than they were last. So no, I don't. So I look at which teams do I think could be competing for the Ravens in case the Ravens fall behind the division race for a wild card. Dolphins, boom. They're in the ridiculously tough division. If Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, if they can keep him upright, the Jets are going to be good. Buffalo's going to be really good. New England, I think, will be the 4th best team in that division, but it's New England, so they're going to at least be well coached, play sound football. They may lack explosion, which is I think what holds them back, but they're a good team. So I think the Dolphins could be fighting for a wild card spot. And it could come down to that very matchup to decide if the Ravens either have, maybe a home game at some point in the playoffs or get in the playoffs at all.
Right, because I'm not being pessimistic here. Obviously, this is a Ravens channel. There's a possibility the Ravens could also be fighting for a wild card as well if the Bengals.
Yeah. Dude, the AFC is ridiculous.
Yeah. So who I forgot who it was that talked about. I think it was Orlovsky, right? Of these quarterbacks, one of them's not getting in, right? Like, name the top quarterback. You got Mahomes, Burrow, Rodgers, Jackson. Who am I forgetting?
Allen,
Herbert. Who's the kid from the Jaguars? Long hair.
Trevor
Lawrence. Tua Tagovailoa. Deshaun Watson. Like, that's 9 I just named.
Yeah, they're not all making it, and
at least 2 of them are not getting in.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that AFC West, I believe it was, with the Chiefs, they got all the hype last year and fell flat on their face, all of them except for the Chiefs.
Right.
Is that going to be the AFC East this year? Because the East is getting all the love, all the hype. Will we see a similar, situation where maybe the Bills do what they're expected, but we see, that the Jets just aren't really ready. Maybe Aaron Rodgers gets injured early, or maybe Tua's out early. Who knows what happens? But I think the East
Yeah.
could be that division that either is what everyone's thinking, or they just knows.
Yeah, and even just like you said, within the East, it's been all Jets lately that people are talking about. And then after that, I feel like even the Dolphins. But I think Kincaid could have a really big impact there offensively for the Bills. You know, they didn't do a lot in the offseason that you make headlines, but I think that draft pick could move the needle for them. So that'll be really interesting. But within the division, let's talk about this real quick to kind of wrap up.
Well, and then I got one question for you.
Yeah,
Jimbo.
go ahead.
Well, mine is, how many of the elite quarterbacks are they facing? Because I think a lot of times, this league is very driven by good quarterback play. So I look down the line and I think, did they avoid, because there's so many in the AFC, and I think they may have avoided, they avoided a lot of good ones.
We got no Mahomes.
That's a big one, right?
We got no Rodgers.
We got no.
You're talking just AFC, right?
Yeah, we got no Josh Allen.
No Josh Allen.
I mean, those three right there are all three expected to be the top contenders for MVP right there. And we didn't have to play any of them. The Texans, I mean, they don't have an elite. So just go down the line. The Bengals, they have an elite quarterback. I'll give them that.
In the first 6 weeks, it's really only the Bengals, in my opinion, unless you think Deshaun Watson is.
I don't think you can put them there after last year's performance. So I don't think you do. And then you go to the Titans, no. The Lions, no. Arizona, no. Seattle, some people want to try and tell me Geno Smith's one of the elites. I ain't buying it. I think he's the 12th best quarterback in this league. Maybe you crack him at 10, maybe, but I don't even put him there. So no. So you don't play another one again until you play the Bengals again, which I already have them marked down. Then the Chargers, of course, I'll give Herbert the elite. But even him, he hasn't necessarily won anything, but I'll give him elite. The Rams,
no.
Stafford at this point, I don't think so. I mean, so my point is that they avoided a lot of those great quarterbacks. And I think that's a big deal.
And then also, I'm thinking real ahead here. If we do get in the playoffs, is that a good thing? In that, I'm assuming a lot of those guys that we missed are gonna be in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So is it good that we missed them in the regular season? Is it, or would it have been more favorable that we have some familiarity with them? That, that of course is a discussion we'll have later on, but that'll be interesting as well. The other thing I got to know is, I was going to ask you about the division, but the other thing I really want to know is, ultimately, do you have any predictions for the win-loss column?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now.
All right.
Week 1's a win. Week 2, that's a win. Week 3, that's a win. Week 4, that's a win. Week 5, that's a win. No, I was going to go all the way to 18. That's a win. No, I'll say this. I think the Ravens have 12 to 13 wins here. I think they're a good team. I think they're a really good team. I see 12 to 13 wins. It's so hard to predict because you just don't know with injuries and whatnot and the unexpected, the unpredictable nature of football as it is anyway.
Yeah.
But I think this is a 12, 13 win team. It's a playoff team. I think they win the division, but I wouldn't be shocked at all to see them be a wild card team.
Right.
It's going to come down to their games against the Bengals.
Yeah, and Lamar's health.
Well, certainly, yeah.
But for sure. So to me, not easily, but the games I identify as most likely losses in my mind, like when I go through these, I think we start 3-0. The next group, where week 4 to 6, I think one we drop is 5. Not that I think the Steelers are very good, but I think every freaking year we split with the Steelers, like all the time.
They are a pretty good team, and they
had a sneaky good draft. I mean, they had a sneaky good draft. They picked up even in rookie free agency a lot of the guys, well, at least one guy that we liked. So they did it right this year. Didn't go all skill positions. They went with the big dogs and obviously corner and things like that. So I think week 5 is our first loss. The other one I identify as a loss. Pretty easily, not easily. Sorry, I should not say easily because no one's beaten us easily. But that I could see as a most likely loss would be, I just the travel going to week 12. That travel is going to be difficult.
Week 16,
and then week 16 is another another big time physical game. Those are the ones. I thought about adding the Jags in there too, because it's just another away game, prime time.
They beat us last year.
Yeah, and they beat us last year. They're a good team, but I think that the Ravens fans show out in Florida hard. So I think that that'll do something there to kind of move the needle. But ultimately, I think that, and then I wouldn't be surprised we end up splitting with the Bengals. But I'll make one declaration, and I'd be willing to put some money on this if I was a betting man. I think it is more likely, I don't know how you put money on this, but I think it is more likely that we sweep the Bengals and we split the Steelers than the opposite.
I 100% agree with you. I think if Lamar Jackson plays, we sweep the Bengals.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Mike McDonald figured out how to stop that offense.
Yeah, he did second half, dude.
Go look at the stats on those games. All three of them. Look at all three of them. Mike McDonald did a fantastic job slowing those guys down, and their defense got a whole lot worse when they lost both their safeties in free agency. Mm-hmm. They lost 2 bona fide Pro Bowl safeties in free agency, and I don't think it's going to be so easy to replace those guys. So I think if Lamar Jackson plays in both those games, that we sweep the Bengals.
Yeah, but realistically speaking, I agree with you that I think we got at least 12 wins here. Barring health, we got at least 12 wins, and definitely the potential for more. I mean, goodness gracious. I wouldn't be shocked if by week 9 we're 8-1.
Dude, this could be another 19 season, man, because no one knows what Todd Monken has up his sleeve.
No one in the NFL has seen Lamar Jackson in a spread offense.
And everything this guy's saying with spacing and balance, and I mean, it sounds like the perfect thing any Ravens fan has been wanting to hear for the past couple of years. I think they could have that unfamiliarity even more so than they saw with Greg Roman, because at least Greg Roman had 2 different stops in the NFL where he was the man play calling. Monken hasn't had that in the NFL. He was under Kitchens in Cleveland. He was under Arians in Tampa. We haven't seen him have his
He's never been
control.
The man. Right. It's a great point. Yeah, and I mean, just like you said, I don't think that's an overstep there, saying it could be like a 2019 season, because Lamar is so unique that he can catch you by surprise. And the offense in and of itself was unique, and then Lamar's unique in 19. That's what I think created this lightning in a bottle effect that year. But if we can do the same thing where now the offense is going to be unknown, not that the offense will be brand new, revolutionary, it'll be a lot of things people have seen, but with Lamar Jackson under center, it's just different. It's all different.
Stetson Bennett won back-to-back championships in this offense. Stetson Bennett. What's the athletic difference between Lamar Jackson and Stetson Bennett? I mean, although I will say this, Stetson Bennett's sneaky athletic. Sneaky athletic.
Oh, gosh. I'm sure that was in his scouting report.
It was definitely in his scouting report and every other white player in the draft. Sneaky athletic. It's always sneaky.
Can't just be athletic, huh?
Yeah, but before we wrap this up, if we don't see anyone until this Sunday, I want to wish all the mothers out there a very, very happy Mother's Day. Certainly to my awesome, beautiful wife, Katie, who's just the best mom. Cam's certainly lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have you. And, shout out to my mom upstairs. Miss her every day. So shout out to all the moms. And Jimmy, still don't forget what you did, for me during that time, that tough time when mom left. You were not just there, but more than there. So I appreciate you, and happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful moms out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to my wife as well. Looking forward to enjoying a Mother's Day with her and giving her some nice surprises. Got one for her tomorrow. I'm excited about it.
Nice.
So hopefully she'll have a good time. But yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. Excited for the upcoming weeks, and we got some big things coming up. So stay tuned. We'll talk to you guys soon.
See you.